And good Sunday afternoon to you all, wherever you may be. I am the Oddity, Mike Jolly, and welcome to a very special edition of the Washington Wrestle Talk podcast. I will be joined here in just a few minutes here with an LFC star who is on the rise, and I've got nothing but good things to say, even though I do need to teach her some promo skills. And I'm talking about, of course, the one and the only Agatha, the Cannibal Carter. I'll be joined by her in just a few minutes. And, of course, don't forget to listen to all my other episodes on Spreaker.com. Look for the Washington Wrestle Talk podcast. Check me out on iHeartRadio as well. Look for me on Listen Notes, where you can hear complete transcriptions of all my podcasts. And here we go. Hello, hello.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Welcome to the Washington Wrestle Talk podcast. I'm the Oddity, Mike, of course, and I am talking with Agatha, the Cannibal Carter. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Well, first of all, I think the very first question I always ask is, how the hell are you?
Oh, can't complain. I
Um,
haven't bitten anyone lately, so I guess I'm doing pretty good.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you about that, but another question, that I always like to ask is, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started with the LFC?
Oh, wow. Let's see. Well, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a while. Got into boxing. Got involved with some people out here who were in it, and got introduced to the man who runs it, and got recruited. So it's been a pretty cool ride.
Well, that's a better answer than I've heard from most, I must say.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a pretty simple answer, but it's not really, I mean, it's pretty basic. I've been doing sessions also for a while, so I was involved with kind of the fight girl circuit out here, and yeah, just kind of got introduced to it, got accepted, and just went from there, and it's been really cool to be part of it.
So, you've had how many fights with them now?
1, 2, 3 so far. 3 bouts.
And 2 opponents, I know. One of them, of course, was Bella.
Right. The first opponent was Tage, and then I didn't do I was out of town and stuff, but I wasn't here for the LFC. But then the one on the 4th and the 5th. So no, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually. My bad. That was 2 different opponents, but I had a fight with Bella on the 4th, and I had another fight with Rob 5th, so we had 2 bouts for each one.
I saw the one on the 4th, and I was actually, that was the one that I saw the bite.
See, everyone keeps talking about that. I don't remember. People tell me I bite. I'm like, that's how I got my name. I didn't even pick that name. People told me that. I'm like, I don't even remember biting anybody. That's the weird thing. It's just kind of, I guess it happens sometimes when I get into a frenzy, but what can you do?
Yeah. 2
2
things. There's 2 things you can do, Jack and shit, and Jack just left town, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Bruce Campbell, for that bit of advice. What's it like being in an LFC ring or cage?
Oh, it's exhilarating. It's I can't really describe it. It's when you just your adrenaline's going. It's really cool. And you just go as hard as you can, and before you know it's over. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a good feeling.
Yeah. Let's see, what other questions do I have for you? Do you have any questions for me, actually?
How did you get involved in all this?
Well, how I got involved was I started following it on YouTube, I want to say either a year or 2 ago, and then they did LFC 26, I believe, the free streaming one.
Right.
And I immediately did a podcast right after that. And, it's just gone, it's just gone sky high for me since then. I've been interviewing a lot of the fighters on my show. Of course, Michael Larkin, who does the official LFC podcast. He's a very good friend of mine. He and I actually did a double podcast this past Thursday night. He hosted his Mike on the Mic, and I hosted the Washington Wrestle Talk. And he asked me the same question. And so I watched the July 4th and 5th fights. I was actually at the Portland airport watching the July 5th fight.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was
okay.
I was actually getting ready to fly out to the East Coast to meet up with some friends of mine. And it's just been ongoing for me. I had Bella on my show about a month or so ago. It was before... It might have been before... It was before the July 4th show.
Okay.
And she was the one who mentioned the Justin Bieber thing that Jen Rep was doing.
Oh, yeah.
So she said, "Well, why don't we do that with you?" I'm like, "Oh shit." Oh, and just so you know, this is uncensored and unfiltered, so you can say whatever you want.
So I can cuss? Can I say the F word?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. That's good to know, because you have to feel to talk, So.
Yeah, I was in the United States Navy, so I cuss like a fucking sailor, okay?
I'm the same way. I mean, I feel like everybody does. I don't know why. Like, apparently now on YouTube, there's all this censorship now. I have, videos get demonetized all the time because of, swear words or, do something political or sexual or whatever. All these people, all the advertising wanting to advertise on whole videos who had controversial content.
And,
they can't do that on YouTube, I guess, now. But,
and
that's just
you mentioned YouTube, which is funny because this podcast actually goes up on YouTube as soon as I end the episode. And I always...
It's not monetized, is it? Is it monetized?
The podcast itself is. Through Spreaker, who I do my show through. But it goes directly on YouTube, but when it goes up on YouTube, it only goes up in 15-minute blocks.
Okay.
Because of the advertising. And I always put up the explicit content tag every time I start my show, because there are going to be times when there's going to be swearing, there's going to be some adult themes,
right,
and stuff like that. So better safe than sorry.
Yeah. Especially if you're dealing with the subject of scantily clad women fighting in a ring, there's things that come up, I'm sure, that, are not exactly kid-friendly all the time, so,
Yeah, and that's another thing that I've been looking out for, quote-unquote, not really.
Right.
I do whatever the hell I want, whenever the fuck I want, basically.
Good for you. That's how you guys do it.
So, were you able to listen to the shows on Thursday night?
I wouldn't know. Thursday night I was working. I did, but you were mentioning something about Bella and Jolene.
Well,
and so I need to go back and listen, actually, because I haven't had a chance. So,
well, that and Michael threw me under the bus with you, by the way.
Oh, really? Wow.
By him telling you that I said after your fight with Bella, the first one, that you can't cut a promo.
Oh, I can't cut a promo. It's okay. I can't. It's all good. I'm not one for a lot of words. So when I'm ending, when I'm finishing the fight and I'm my adrenaline's going, I'm just not going to say. I'm not going to have a soliloquy or a poetic, beautiful thing to say. So
and
I don't know.
Sometimes though, you don't need that. You just need to be a little, have a menacing look. Say your words, not loud, not screaming, just like this. I learned by watching Jake Roberts. And if you go on my Twitter, actually, at Triple R Product, back in June, I cut a promo on one Delight De La Cruz because we were supposed to have a match at the Session Girls event, and unfortunately, I got a little heat stroke.
Oh, no. That's not good.
Yeah, and it was probably my longest podcast ever at 8 straight hours.
Holy shit. I wonder if that means for 8 fuck. That's a long time.
Yeah.
So was it really hot outside?
It was at the Hit the Mat gym in Van Nuys, and I was, typical oddity Mikey here, dressed as in all black, black jeans, black Deadpool t-shirt, black Bullet Club hat, and, I was fine, and then right about towards the end of the event, which is when we were supposed to have our match, I started getting really lightheaded and real dizzy, and thank you to Tara Cardinal, Jennifer Thomas, and all the people that, took care of me.
Oh, yeah, well, hopefully, everyone saw that you were having trouble and helped you out, because heat stroke's scary. I've had friends, I had that happen to people, that I know, they just went for a walk, and they went out in the middle of the summer, in Las Vegas, and just fell flat on their face, and then, were paralyzed from heat stroke. Actually, Tasia Lochran, the girl who I fought the first time, her master, that happened to him. He went for a walk and had heat stroke, and he was lost for 2 days. And apparently, he was laying out there in the wetland park in Las Vegas, and people found him laying there. He couldn't move from the heat stroke.
Yeah,
it's really that heat stroke is serious. People, so yeah, it's because the people were there to help me. But that's scary.
Yeah, I had a lot of good people taking care of me. I haven't said enough good things about it. I will till next time Jennifer has another Session Girls event, because I'm the unofficial official podcaster of those events now.
Nice. I love Session Girls. And Jennifer's awesome too. The whole group of people, that's how I got involved with this. I knew Doreen, I knew the other people, some Pink Team girls, and, got involved, and I just really love this group of people. They're just cool people. They're down-to-earth girls, they're athletic, and they have, a good sportsmanship. I feel like women who fight are, they have, a sportsmanship about them that, other chicks don't have. I don't know, I can't explain it. It's I mean, we all, have our tips and everything like that, but, at the same time, it's, it's fair fight, and we don't bite someone, and, whoever wins, wins, and you just move forward,
So I think I told you a little bit about the story about why Bella came onto my show, and she basically challenged me.
She challenged you?
Yeah, and I responded.
Nice.
I responded. What happened was I was supposed to meet her last October when I was in Vegas for Halloween. I always go for Halloween because it's such a kick-ass time.
It's the best time to be out on Fremont Street, and Halloween time, Fremont Street is the best place to be.
Oh, I haven't been to Fremont yet. In the 4 or 5 times I've been there, I've been on the Strip mostly.
Okay, Strip is fun too. Fremont's better. So next time you come out on Halloween, go to Fremont Street.
Oh, I'm actually going to be there this Halloween, and
cool.
I'm actually bringing my mother with me because she's never been to Vegas.
Oh, nice. She'll love it.
Yeah, so...
Perfect weather during October. Perfect weather. It's not too hot.